How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Stefon Love, and you are tuned into the Stefon Show. This is a new show, a weekly show that will be airing every Saturday on Channel 21. You know, we talk to influencers and hip-hop moguls and, you know, people of a successful, you know, background. You know, we want to hear the success story, you know. And today, on the first episode of the Stefon Show, we have a good friend of mine and a legendary hip-hop mogul who goes by the name of Jaz-O.
What's going on?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Everything's everything, man.
Yeah?
You know, yeah. Running the street again. For sure.
So you said running the street. How you been running the street? Because I know you about to go on tour.
Yeah. About to go on the Eric B. and Rakim and Friends tour.
Okay.
Which is going to start April 3rd. Yeah, between that, you know, being here, I'm about to take a trip to New York for some more business and jump back out and just, you know, putting all the things together for the tour. That's really like the #1 priority right now.
Yeah. So how do you feel about the tour? You nervous? You anxious? You excited? You scared?
No, I'm not nervous or scared, but you know, I do have butterflies, which is a good sign. I always have butterflies, and I have more before I jump on stage, and it usually turns out great. Yeah. You know, not being egotistical or nothing. It's just that's how it is.
Gotcha.
So you know, if I didn't, I'd be like, hey, why am I not nervous?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It make me think. So yeah.
So when was the last time you were on tour prior to this tour?
A tour like was, I don't know why we say that, like tour like tour turbo or something. Yeah. But really the Hard Knock joint.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was the last time.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So now most people, they associate you with, you know, Jay-Z. But you're your own man.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? And this is also why I want you here, because you're talented. You're dope. Like,
appreciate it.
You know what I mean? I seen you at All-Star Weekend, and you got up and did your verse to, you know, Jigga What, the crowd went crazy. You know what I mean? Like, even my girl, she was in the background, Harlem Shake. I'm like, oh, he still got it. He still got it. Like, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So it's like, you still got it. But I want people to learn about Jaz-O. You know what I'm saying? I want people to understand who you are, because you're not just, you know, the man behind Jay. You're a producer as well. You know, you're a songwriter as well, right? Correct?
Yes.
You've written, I mean, so it's like, so I want to know, like, what's your story? Like, I mean, how did you get into the business? Like, what was your start?
Well, initially my start was, you know, it's not like today, you know, hip-hop, or we should say b-boy, was really in the street. So you got your notoriety by, you know, battling and just, you know, somebody had the music out when they, you know, when they jumped the, you know, the light post on the street, and we did the block parties, you did your 1-2. And, you know, if you was whack, you got known for being whack. If you was hot, you got known for being hot. So that's how I got my notoriety. And, you know, I started traveling, started doing...
Well, hold on, just back up. So you said that's how you got your notoriety. So doing what? You was battle rapping, or what was you doing?
Yeah, I was battle rapping and doing just those things. You know, coming out and somebody had the music out, you know, whatever projects in Brooklyn, whatever projects uptown, you know what I'm saying? And we show up. After a while it was me and Jay, but you know, at first it was me and some other cats. And you know, I jump on and do my thing, and everybody used to wonder, like, who's that guy? You know, and eventually I met some cats. You know, I met like Grandmaster Caz, who, you know, indirectly, you know, inspired me, you know, to really like step my game up. Like when I heard cats like him and, you know, Melly Mel, of course, you know, they made me say like, oh, this is where I got to step my game up to. So I aspired to, you know, skill-wise, you know, to be like them. And in Brooklyn, all throughout Brooklyn, like everywhere I went, you know, it was like, there you go. You know, he about to get on, this, that, and the other. And it was wonderful. It was great. You know, it wasn't, you know, we didn't monetize it to the point of where it is now today, but, you know, the notoriety definitely paid off. You know, you actually could get shows. You could actually, you know, that was really it. You know, because few people were making records. You know, like I wasn't on a record until like, like 84, 85.
You said you wasn't on a record until 84,
right,
85.
Right.
So just leading up to that time, it was just you being down with crews and doing parties, you know, because the MC back then was a part of the party. Yeah.
You know, it wasn't really like how it is these days. You know, the DJ nowadays plays the background unless they're in their own thing.
Exactly.
You know, so in reference to like the MC, or today they call him a rapper, you know, the DJ was like it went hand in hand. It was a partnership, you know, so we did shows, you know, I had a couple of DJs, one, my brother DJ Stevie Steve, you know, who, like we used to say in the P's, he in the sky right now, you know what I'm saying, and DJ Cool KG, you know, who's still around somewhere, but you know, those are my peoples, those are my brothers, and we got that work in together. Yeah. On, you know, on the music level.
So you're saying you didn't put out a record until you said around 84, 85, something like that?
Yeah.
So then how did you get discovered? Like, you was doing these parties, you was MCing, you was with different crews. And then who was like the person to say, yo, Jazz, like,
right,
here's your deal, here's your opportunity, here's your shot?
Well, I met this guy named Fresh Gordon. I hate to say this guy named Fresh Gordon, like we was people. So, you know, I met Fresh Gordon through KG. Okay. And, you know, we all started doing stuff together. But then eventually, like, you know, Gordon was like, yo, what you doing? You know, yo, come through the crib. I got, you know, full-fledged studio in here. You know, let's rock out. So we started doing songs. We started doing, like, me and KG, what we did was a lot of, what really was a mixtape back then was like, you know, your DJ spinning some break beats and, you know, you just getting it in for like a half hour or something. Yeah. So I did that at KG's crib, but then, you know, Gordon was like, yo, I got a studio, I make beats, woo woo. So I was like, let me go over there and see what's popping. So we started doing the same thing, but on an original music level. And then, you know, we started doing some songs. And from there, you know, Gordon had connects because he was doing production for the Fat Boys. And so he also had connects with, you know, Tom Silverman and Monica Lynch at Tommy Boy at the time. So he was like, yo, let's do a song. So it was a B-side. He had a song, I think, called The Fresh Commandments or something like that. Don't laugh. You gonna make me laugh. But yeah, The Fresh Commandments, and the B-side was My Fila. You know what I'm saying? Which was an answer to Run DMC's My Adidas. Yes. Yeah. So after that, you know, Tommy Boy got interested in me, and they threw me a single deal, and then they found out that I could sing. So yeah, so it ended up being like they wanted me to sing. I guess they wanted me to do, like, you know, that 80s club joint. I'm like, yo, that's really not my style. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wasn't my style, but I was like, you know, y'all know what the rhyme game is. So they were like, okay, you know. So, but real quick, so how did they find out you could sing? Cause on some of the joints that Gordon and I did, you know, I would sing on them, like, you know, we would do like the you know, the storytelling, and then in the middle of it, you know, it might be a little tune or something, you know, a little relevant tune or something, and you sing, and then they like, oh, this guy can sing, okay. See, now, cause when you tell me you can sing, all I'm picturing is you dressed up like Eddie Murphy singing Party on the Town, like, you know what I mean? Like, nah, not quite. That's what I picture, because for that era as well. So it's like, I'm like, yo, this guy, he sings, like, you know what I mean? Like, and definitely not tight. That tight.
Yeah, actually, but are there any songs, like, if I was to Google the research, that you actually sang on that's out there or no?
I don't know if you could find it, but there's a joint called "I'm in Love," and that was actually my single. I don't know if you can find it. I mean, I know it in my stuff and even in my little junk pile, which is not junky. I'm very organized. I can't find it.
So you said, but that was your single. That was your single under Tommy Boy. So, okay, so you.
It should be somewhere, right?
Exactly, yeah. But so Tommy Boy, they spark interest in you. They bring you on. They want you to sing. So was that your first single, or did you put out like a hip hop joint?
Nah, actually it actually is like around the same year that we did HP Gets Busy. You know, myself, Jay-Z, Easy LD, and his brother Almond Joy. Yeah, so we did HP Gets Busy, and then I think that same year or a year later, yeah, I think it was like 2 years later, I did I'm in Love.
Gotcha. Okay.
Tommy Boy, I think it's like 87, yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of want to fast forward a little. It might not even be fast forward, but so when did Hawaiian Sophie come into play?
Oh, Hawaiian Sophie, originally it was a routine that I had, that I used to perform in places like Broadway International, the Rooftop, Uptown. But it turned into Gordon and I we had made it a routine that we actually recorded. So you know, they heard that as well. Like actually, I gotta mention more names. This cat named Marlon Prescott, who used to frequent over Gordon's house a lot, and he heard me, and so he pulled me to the side and was like, "Yo, man, I know some people that would be interested, you know, in getting you some real money." So I was like, "Okay, you know, let's see what it is." So he introduced me to what was it at that time? It was an individual named Stan Poses, who ended up becoming my manager. He brought me up to EMI, and I was introduced to the A&R director up there, who was Scott Folks. It was a long time ago. We gotta go way back.
Remember, your memory's pretty good though, cause he's still dropping the names. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with that. So so Scott. So this is the backstory to that. Scott Folks knew me because I think is the gentleman who owned Vintertainment. I think it was his last name Davis, Vincent Davis. Vincent, I'm not sure. I don't want to get his name wrong. If I got your name wrong, man, sorry about that. But he owned Vintertainment, and he and Scott Folks were working together on something, and they heard the song stuff too, my singing, and they wanted to sign me as an R&B artist to Vintertainment, and EMI was going to do like the back work, you know, distribution and promotion and marketing, and I didn't want to do it, so they signed Keith Sweat. Yeah, but I was like, you know, people like, oh man, you could have been Keith Sweat. I'm like, I don't want to be Keith Sweat. Keith Sweat is Keith Sweat. I'm me.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You could have been singing Nobody though. You know what I mean? Nah,
that's his song. He did a great job. You know what I'm saying? But that's not, it's not me. You know, and at the end of the day, in life, what I try to show people through my life is that you have to be satisfied and content with what you do, regardless. Okay, somebody offering you this stack of money over here, and then over here is your pride and your dignity and all that other stuff that you know people put a price on today. You know, I'm good. You know that it's more important to be content with yourself.
Exactly. So now, this situation with EMI, the Tommy Boy deal, was that done? Yeah,
it was a single deal.
Okay, gotcha.
And they wanted to do an album deal, and they changed their mind because they saw, for the most part, I wasn't willing to do the type of songs that they had envisioned me doing. You know, So,
but I'm surprised to hear that, because it's like with Tommy Boy, who was it? Was De La Soul with Tommy Boy, Naughty by Nature was with Tommy Boy. Like there was a hip hop groups though. So, but they wanted you to be a singer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, it was one of those things. I mean, because, and I understood it because, for the most part, that's what they had. They were moving into the whole, you know, hip hop thing. They didn't really have anybody. You know, they were just trying to fill in the slots for everything. You know, they had the distribution through Warner at the time, so they were like, "Sure, let's take advantage of it." So I get the business aspect of it, but the me aspect of it is like, nah.
Yeah.
You know, kick rock. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying.
So when you get the EMI, and you say Hawaiian Sophie, that came out through EMI. Yeah,
that was EMI. That was on my first album. And they remembered it because Scott Folks remembered it, and he was the A&R at the time, and like I said, he was doing business with Vincent, you know, Entertainment. Yeah. So basically, he remembered that, and you know, he was actually an A&R, you know, where he would shoot ideas at me. You know, a lot of A&Rs, like all they doing is expense reports for, you know, the VPs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, so he was a real A&R. So he shot ideas, taught me and everything, and I was like, yeah, I remember doing that. I didn't really want to do that, and for years, and probably to this day, I feel like Ron Howard, you know, when Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live was doing Opie Cunningham. He kept calling him Opie Cunningham. Like, for people who remember, like, I'm most known for Hawaiian Sophie.
Yes.
But like, that was just like a novelty record, you know, like I put it in, you know what I'm saying, on a lyrical level, and it's like, that's not really a reflection of, like, people who know me, they say like, nah, it's not really a reflection of what this guy does. Is a novelty record. So I'm kind of like the Opie Cunningham.
But nah, so I'm glad you said that though, because I was gonna ask, is that record like you really want to do? Because even the video looks like a Fresh Prince video.
Right.
Like the whole vibe of it, and it was like.
And it was mad colorful.
Yeah, and I was just like, but this ain't. But this is when I look at it now, and with me knowing you. And so when I look at it now, I'm like, yo, but this ain't. Dude could like spit and like, but. I felt like they had you look like a clown in the video. Like, you know what I mean? It was corny to me. Like, that's my personal opinion. Like, it was because.
Hey, only Stefon would say that to your face. You know what I'm saying? And make it sound like it's okay.
I
get what you're saying.
Because like Fresh Prince, like.
We'll talk about that later. Nah, this is bullshit.
And no disrespect to you. Because, because like, I'm a true fan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, real shit. Like, not saying that because you're here, not saying that because we cool. Like,
I know.
You know what I mean?
I respect it. I know what you're saying. I'm just playing around.
Yeah, but I mean, so that's what I'm glad to hear you say. You really didn't want to do it.
Nah, I didn't. But I weighed the options, and I was saying, like, look, I got a major record deal. They gave me more money than I heard anybody else, any of my peers, or anybody in rap ever getting for you know, for a project. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, I can do this now, and do what I'm, you know, give them what they want, so that they learn to want what I have to give them. You know what I'm saying? So that was my whole scheme. So I did it, and you know, it was a successful song. I mean, you know, it made me look a certain way, and you know, I did run into people who asked me, was I from Philly? I'm dead. I was like, cause the dude, no. It's like, yeah, you know, you from Philly? Like, you know, that's the Philly movement. Just don't understand.
Exactly,
You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah. And what they didn't realize is that, you know, they weren't really that way either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've listened to, they had the new music seminar that Tommy Boy was like a major sponsor, you know, for a few years. And you know, when I met Jazzy Jeff, like, he wasn't like that. It wasn't, you know, and even Will Smith, like, they weren't really rhyming and making music like that, like they were hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah, you know what I mean?
So they probably did a couple of joints they didn't want to do.
I feel like probably because I remember like all of their videos like had that feel. It was like the parents that just doesn't understand, and then it was that, I mean, a few I can't even think of them all now, but that
Girls in the World ain't nothing but trouble.
Yeah, like exactly. I mean, so even not for nothing, even the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that the intro was that. You know what I mean? So it was just like
that. Will Smith, you know what I'm saying? I send my wire information. I get it to you some kind of way.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? But it was like that was. So but that became them. So that's how I saw them, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw them as that.
Right.
But then it was like. You did Hawaiian Sophie, and like you said, that's what everybody knows, right? Every time I say Jaz-O, they're like, yeah, Hawaiian Sophie, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's what they say, and it's like, you were rapping fast at one point. When and where did that come into play? Because that's not I mean, again, Tommy Boy wanted you to sing.
Right.
EMI had you, you know what I mean, Fresh Prince in it, like, you know what I mean? But then it was like, you were spitting like nobody was really rapping like that, like, you know what I mean? So it was like, where did that come into play?
Well, the first recording was the HP Gets Busy that I was talking about, where I did small, you know, stints of it, like little quick stuff, and then just go back to regular, you know, 16th rhyming and stuff over 4/4. So I was doing it before, you know, I've appeared on a record, and what happened was KG, and this is Cool KG, this is not KG from the, you know, Cold Crush, this is
okay.
Yeah. KG was like, yo, that fast rapping is crazy, how you do that? You know, you should do more of that. And then, you know, I paid him some mind about it, but, you know, I was just like creative. Like, the only reason I did it, honestly, is because it was something that I wanted to say, and there weren't enough 16th increments in order for me to say it in that one line. So I you know, I tripled it. I tripled it. So basically later on, you know, Jay-Z and I, we started like writing routines and stuff like that, and then, you know, he saw how I continued to do it, and he was like, yo, man, he was like, we should do a whole song like that.
So was he already like rapping like that too, or did you influence him to like start?
I influenced him to rap like that, but at the same time, it was his idea. So when we did the song The Originators, that was basically his idea, which kind of started from a routine, and we said like, yo, let's make it a record. So it was his idea. It's like, yo, you should rhyme like that, the whole shebang. And I was like, yo, why don't you do it too? You know, so it was kind of like a joint venture, but he sparked the whole thing. Like, I didn't care. Like, I'm gonna give it to you raw. Like, this how it is with me. I just, especially back then, I felt that everything I did was the shit. You know what I'm saying? That I'm just giving it to you. You know, I'm keeping it 150. Like, everything I did was the shit because I even liked it, and I ain't like nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I kept doing stuff until I liked it. So when I liked it, I felt like everybody should like it. Even though I know in reality that's not, you know, somebody's gonna hate it. You're gonna, I hate it, and I hate your guts, and you know, I mean, everything else. But you know, so I wasn't really concerned because the way, from what I heard, I felt, and I think it was justified. I was like, nobody could touch me. So I don't need this. I don't need an angle, you know what I'm saying, to, you know, keep myself above, you know, or to raise the bar, whatever. I'm like, I'm right here, and they still around here bottom feeding, and that's how I felt, you know. I know viewers gonna be like, damn, it's like that. But yeah, it's like that. It's like that. Like, y'all, you know, people want to know the artist. You know, some people phony, some people, you know, tell all their personal business. You know, I'm gonna give it to you raw, so you know what you're dealing with.
Exactly.
You know, yeah, I didn't see it as that important, but Jay was like, "Yo, we should do, you know, a whole song like that." I was like, "All right, cool," and that's where the originators came from.
Gotcha.
The you know, of course, the first.
Yeah. Okay. Because I want to ask a question.
Excuse me.
Because it's, I mean, like I said, I want this to be about you, but I still do have a question that would involve Jay. You know what I mean? And I want to know, how did that come into play? Like, how did y'all, like, meet? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what was that? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to try to make it quick as possible.
Okay.
It was long, drawn out. The gentleman from our projects actually lived around Jay's way. Well, we called him Nike. You know what I'm saying? Nike is one of the members of the original Shirt Kings. Yeah, so Nike was, you know, Nike spent a lot of times in Queens, of course, you know, because that's where they had the booth, you know, the famous booth where everybody in hip hop, you know what I'm saying, visited and got product from. So he ran into a lot of people, and his thing, he was always like, yo, ain't nobody better than Jazz. Jazz is the best. Nobody better than Jazz. And then somebody was like, yo, it's this young kid, you know, who lives around the way, so and so and so. And he was like, yeah, when Jazz come home, we gonna set it up. You know what I'm saying? I was in college, you know.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was just saying,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, no, I wasn't locked up.
Gotcha, okay.
I wasn't locked up. But I was in college, you know, just wasting my time because I didn't want to be there. So when I eventually came home.
Well, real quick, what college is it?
Old Dominion University.
Okay, you said you didn't want to be there. You was wasting
I didn't want to be there. I was wasting my time. Man.
Gotcha, okay.
So basically, when I got back, you know, Nike, that was one of the first things Nike was telling me. He's like, yeah, you know, I want to get y'all together, whoop, 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 you know. And, you know, they were setting it up like a battle. But, you know, I don't think, you know, I think just from the horror stories that, you know, they were telling Jay didn't want to battle.
Yeah.
And then you know, and I saw him, I was like, he didn't seem imposing, number one. Not saying nothing negative about, but I'm just saying he didn't seem imposing. Like his intention was to, like, yeah, I'm taking him down. You know what I'm saying? So, so he's like, all right, so what's up? He's like, what's up? We met in what's called the Lane in Marcy, and so I rhymed first. And you know, everybody's like, yeah. So it was like, let me hear what you got. You know what I'm saying? So he rhymed. So it wasn't really like a battle. It was something epic, because that's what really sealed, you know, our partnership. You know what I'm saying? Solidified our partnership, because I was like, yeah, I've been listening to a whole lot of these clowns, and then here come this young cat, and he reminds me of myself. You know, the timing, the way he locks in with the beats, you know, the wordplay. And I was like, yeah. So, you know, so that's where it all started. And, you know, people were trying to pair us up with other people and make us a group. Because, you know, back then you had like 3 DJs, 12 MCs, and shit. You know, nobody getting money that way. But, you know, so eventually, long story short, you know, it became like a partnership. And, you know, he talked about it in some books and you know, interviews, and, you know, every day, damn near, his crib and my crib. Go get the Haagen-Dazs ice cream, a whole bunch of cereal and shit. Niggas high as hell on sugar, banging on the table. Going back and forth. Going back and forth. And we weren't really practicing. We would like, just, we got to get that shit out. You know what I'm saying? So we were writing routines, you know, eventually writing songs.
And then, was Biggie ever in that equation anywhere?
Nah, Big was an acquaintance of a cat we know in the projects. We call him VI. And VI brought Big to the projects, introduced him to Jay, and it wasn't really that big a deal. It was,
Gotcha.
you know, because it was like, all right, there's somebody who don't live in the P's. You know, I'm introducing you to somebody else who lives in the P's, and it's like, okay, I see your face. This, that, and the other wasn't really a big deal.
Gotcha. Okay, but he was okay. So he was never ever part of like the U and J was just U and J.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And then okay, so you were with EMI. And you know, during the All-Star, you know, Moni Love, she talked about how she makes you. Okay, now was that still through the EMI situation, or?
Yeah, that was through the EMI situation.
So okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what happened was I was recording the first album. I was in London, and I brought Jay-Z and Irv Gotti with me. So,
now what was Irv Gotti's role like?
He was my DJ.
Okay, so he was your DJ back in the day.
Yeah.
So
he ain't touched not one record on my behalf.
So let's backtrack real quick.
I ain't saying no bad.
No, of course, no, I get it. But let's backtrack. So how did you meet Irv? Where and when did Irv come into play?
And just that, you know what I'm saying? I was introduced to Irv by my management at the time, the individual Stan Poses. And so basically, because we needed a DJ, we didn't need a DJ, or we didn't know what we needed, but he was like, okay, bring a DJ out there with you. So they introduced me to Irv, introduced Irv to Jay, and you know, we were off to London. I recorded in Battery Studios. I ain't see him cut one record, and they was like, yeah, he's a DJ. They say he's good. He could do it. I'm like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
So that's where Irv came in the picture, and this segues into where I met Moni. So I was doing a song on the album, on my first album, called "Give a Little Extra," and I needed a female young lady to say these 4 words, and it was nobody around. You know, it was some grown women around, but I needed somebody who sounded more hip hop and more street. So so they brought her up there. Is this cat named DJ Pogo. I don't know how they found him. He was a popular DJ in the area, I guess. And
in the area, meaning
in London.
London, okay.
Yeah, shout out to Pogo wherever you at. You know, shout out to Moni, of course. You know, so he bought Moni, right? And she said the 4 words, the little phrase, and then you know, she got paid. And you know, every time I saw her back in the States, like, she was just brave about it. She talk about it. These guys, they came to London. They had a flat in plush part of, you know, a whole bunch of. And she was like, and they had limo drivers drive them everywhere they need to go. She was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. and the other thing was like, she was like, who are these guys? Who is this dude? So yeah. So that's where it started. And then the next time I saw her, you know, she was doing music. You know, she had the Moni in the middle, and I was like, wow. And then, you know, Ladies First with Queen Latifah and everything. Yeah. So it was good to see her, because I haven't seen her in a long time. I think the last time I saw her, it was a time before, like 2 or 3 times before, we were standing in front of where Universal used to be, and we were just talking, and I guess she was waiting on somebody, and that was it. I didn't, you know, we always exchanged information and never kept in touch, and all that. So I guess, you know, well, at least I did. I made a pact that I'm not going to do that this time. So I saw All-Star Weekend, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to definitely stay in touch, and I still want to work with her, because, you know, her pen game is super solid. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be an honor. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So, but y'all So y'all do work in London, and then y'all come back to the States, or you stay out there for a while, or?
Nah, after the project, I had an album release party in London, and then.
But why London though? Were they marketing you out there? Like, were they trying to push you out there? Okay.
Yeah, they were, and it was crazy because like that was a time that the money that they were spending and the money that they put in my pocket and the money that they were paying everybody around me was, I was just going along. I was like, you say so.
Yeah.
You know, within a limit, of course, but you know, they were basically doing everything that I asked them to do and above. So, you know, now, I mean, as far as like actually pushing the record, you know, in the States, they weren't really prepared. You know, EMI, they didn't fortify, you know, the black music department, you know, as far as promotions. And then, you know, you know, hip hop was a new territory for them at that time too. So, you know, I understood, but, you know, at the same time, I was like, yo, you know, I did my part, you know, do your part.
I mean, so, but in regards to like album sales or single sales, I mean, was it doing pretty good out there in London?
Yeah, it was doing all right.
Yeah?
It was doing, you know, the single, and, you know, I have a real good following, you know, in the UK. I mean, worldwide, really, but like for a long time in the UK, I had a serious following.
Gotcha.
Yes, I need to go visit.
Right, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. So facts, like, okay. So you have your album release in London, and then what, you come back to the States, and then, because I know you said they had a hard time, like, I guess marketing you and I guess working your music out here in the United States.
Yeah, but I stayed here. You know, I was here. You know, that's where I live. I was like, I ain't staying out there. They don't do breakfast.
Oh, they don't?
Not really. No, they don't do breakfast.
Damn.
They do tea. Yeah, tea and crumpets and.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
No pancakes or nothing.
No. I couldn't find any. I mean, a lot's changed, so you know, I don't know, but.
Well, it's a good thing you came back then, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because if I didn't get some pancakes,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, shit. Sorry to hear that, man. Like,
I know, right?
Okay, so you're back, and then did you only have like a one album deal with EMI, or did you?
No, I had a multiple album deal, and I did a follow-up album in 1990, and that's what that's where we actually put the Originator song on.
Okay.
So I did that, and I actually had 2 singles to come off of that album. I had a song called A Groove, and you know, I mean, the video-wise, it did very well. It was very popular, and it did a lot for my notoriety. But again, they weren't as in tune, I should say, with the actual selling of the records, of hip hop records. And you know, they basically, the black promotions department was using their you know, their R&B music connects to push what I was doing. And so at that time, now it works hand in hand, because basically all this music out here is hip hop or rap. But back then it was really an isolated genre. So it wasn't the same game, so it wasn't as easy to do. So they actually they hired one of my peoples that I met through my man JC, who you know, through my man JC, you know, who's known for being affiliated with Kane.
Okay.
So yeah, my man Harry Fobbs. So you know, I used to see him, you know, just see him in the street, and you know, he talked a good one, and you know, he knew a lot about music because he was around. So some of the time that I went up to EMI, you know, I used to have him with me, and he just had, you know, he was a genuine dude, so he had a lot of charm. So a lot of the people in black promotions took a liking to him, and one of whom was one of the VPs of Black Promotion. And
was it called Black Promotion? Like that's what they called it back then, or that's what you just call it?
Nah, I call it Black Promotion because it's black music.
I know.
They called it Black Music Promotion.
That's what they called it?
Yeah, it wasn't urban music or politically correct like it is now. No, it was Black Music Promotion.
Gotcha, okay.
It's like, this is y'all shit, and this is our shit. Throw money over here, throw money over here, y'all just get it out the mud.
Damn, okay. So Black Promotion, that's what it's called.
Black Music Promotion.
Black Music Promotion.
But I just say Black Promotion.
Nah, I got it.
You know. So, yeah, so long story short, Harry Fobbs got hired. Unfortunately, you know, a few months later, you know, he was in the hospital, you know, his health, and he passed away. So, you know, with that, kind of like, that kind of injured my career because that was my first real connect. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I ain't got to go see the man to get the word to the man. It's like, boom. And they took his word. You know what I'm saying? He had proven himself the short amount of time he was there. Yeah. And so, you know, they trusted his judgment. And I could tell him like, yo, we need this, we need this, we need this. He was like, that's what you want? I was like, yep. Done. So
I mean, so you say it ended your career, but I mean...
No, I ain't saying it ended my career. I'm saying it injured.
Oh, injured,
yeah,
sorry.
Injured.
I said, damn, like... You know,
I'm over, I'm up, I'm out. So it's over with.
It injured your career, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay. So, but at this time, with again, you're talking about like with EMI not knowing how to, you know, really market hip-hop. You know, they was using the R&B, you know, the Black Music Promotions team that focused on R&B. Was Def Jam and Uptown Music, were they not around at that time? Was that before?
Yeah, they were, and they were winning.
Yeah, I mean, so you didn't want to jump ship and go to them because they were winning, or?
Well, yeah, but you know, EMI gave me a real nice amount of money. So I was like, yo, one way or another, we could work this out. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I wanted the and then it was an expression thing. Like even my colleagues, like they knew like the records that I had that they chose to make singles, between that and what everybody else was putting out, they was like, you know, and I didn't want to be blocked into one of those people that like, okay, this thing gets busy, but you know, his records is not really hip hop. They may be like socially conscious, or, you know, novelty and stuff like that. And then I was at a time where, you know, the whole music industry was starting to disappoint me. I become, you know, just disenfranchised with the whole situation. So I was like, so I just dug down. I was like, do what y'all gonna do. You gonna put it out. You know what I'm saying? As long as my money is right, you know.
I mean, but why? Why'd y'all do that as well?
Because I'd invested, you know, my time and energy. You know, I delivered music, and you know, I couldn't sit at a desk and be up there, you know. And then you have to understand the time as well. It was a time when they didn't really, you had to have a front person, a manager. You know, it wasn't like now. You know, like now I'm an artist, and you know, like you had Jay had an executive position, you know, with Rockefeller, and he was the primary artist. It wasn't like that back then. You know, these were the major staple, you know, record companies, and they like, well, that's the artist. Okay, let him talk. You know what I'm saying? He feels better about himself. Now bring the manager in. Let's talk real business. You know, that's how they looked at it, because they looked at artists as the quote-unquote prima donna, don't really know what they want and can't really project and stuff like that. Even if you prove yourself to be knowledgeable of these things, it didn't matter. Yeah. Because you got to understand the time, and back then, it was like you were an artist at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? we're gonna talk to your people.
Yeah.
And in a way, that's how it should be. But at the same time, when you know, I didn't feel I could trust somebody to that point. You know, because I mean, even to this day, you know, managers railroading artists left and right.
Yeah.
You know, and I just found out early, so I was just like, nah, I don't need anybody to handle my business. But they not listening, so I became disenfranchised and just like, all right, do what y'all gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, I got my money, and eventually I move on to something else, somewhere else.
And then when did that eventually come into play?
Well, after the second album, I was given an idea to put out an EP and give some burn to some of the songs, or two of the songs in particular from the second album that I and the A&R at that time felt, you know, was more in line with my skill level and what I was trying to do. Mm-hmm. So we put out an EP, and right after that, the A&R was gone. With him being gone, my deal was done, you know, and I was glad. I was glad because I wasn't doing that anymore anyway.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had me a little stash, and, you know, I was like, whatever. You know, I love music, but I don't like the music business.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so that's where I drew the line. And I took a hiatus for a long time. And the only reason I'm calling it a hiatus now is because I came back to it. Mm-hmm. Because back then I didn't see it as a hiatus. I just saw it as like, man, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm going about my business. There's other things to do. I've been getting money before music. Mm-hmm. So it didn't really matter.
Gotcha. So, what was I going to ask? So nowadays, everybody's big on, like, you know what I mean, independence. Mm-hmm. I mean, back then you said, like, fuck it, like, you know what I mean, but you didn't, because were you not knowledgeable or understanding of, like, how the independent world work, or you didn't want to go the independent route? Because I know, like I said, back then that really wasn't like a thing. Like, you know what I mean, everybody kind of just had a deal, or I feel like the closest thing to independence was like a P&D deal, like with the distribution company. Right. You know what I mean?
I feel like the beginning, most of those people who were independent, they started on hardship, or they started on a stash of whatever resources they had, mm-hmm. and went from there. So to me, I looked at it like, I had this, and why would I do that? Because I just didn't feel I should do it. But that's just the way I looked at it. It's not necessarily the way it is. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Well, you look at this, or you look at that, you know, you are where you are. You know, you make of it what you make of it. So, but at that time, that's how I looked at it. I looked at it like, man, I ain't going from having a deal, you know, with all of that money involved to, you know, doing it independent, grassroots, and all of that stuff, because then that meant that I couldn't just be the artist. I got to do all the work, mm-hmm. because you didn't have people readily available to jump ship from major record labels or even the big independents to come and say, okay, I'm gonna help you start what you doing, mm-hmm. because you know they getting a steady check. Yeah. So it's not like how it is like most, like nowadays it's just different. I can generalize and say that, you know, a lot of the situations, you know, it started from street money, mm-hmm. you know, which is true, even though I'm saying I'm generalizing. But that was just it. And my thing was, like, I had other things I was doing. I was, you know, I'm a spirit man. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I always feel like it doesn't matter what I do, I'm going to always eat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't look at it that way, you know, like, oh, let me jump back into music. I can always do music. All I need is a drum machine, headphones. Yeah. You know, I'm on. So. Gotcha.
So when did production come into play? Was that when you said fuck doing music and you started producing for other people, or I mean, were you always producing as well? Like,
yeah, I was always producing. Okay. Actually, that was one of the things that I had. I sort of like I shouldn't have done that way, but I mean, it happened, so it is, you know, what it is already. But I had actually produced most of the songs. I'm the original writer for all the songs on my first album. You know what I'm saying? They just, you know, used more high-tech equipment of that day and relayed the tracks and everything, but I went in the studio, and I was in the studio for 25 hours straight in D&D Studios. Nobody in hip-hop had ever heard of D&D Studios. Even, you know, even Dave and Doug, who were the owners of D&D Studios, they were asking my management, it's like, why does he need a turntable with the drum machine? Yeah, because they were doing like, you know, they were doing like rock music and alternative and stuff like that. That's what they were booking in that studio. They didn't have an idea what I was doing. They didn't know that I was going to be sampling and then maybe playing some keys over the samples and putting drums over the sample. They had no idea. So I was basically the first person to ever do that in D&D Studio.
That's what's up. You know what I mean? So, if you don't mind me asking, like, can you tell us like what projects have you produced for? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are there any singles that, you know what I mean, people have heard of or that we know of that people didn't know? Like, oh shit, I didn't know that was Jazz. Like,
yeah, well, Ain't No Nigga
by Jay-Z. Okay.
World Famous, M.O.P. Lifestyles of a Ghetto Child, M.O.P. Born to Kill, M.O.P. I Got the Power, Puff on the No Way Out album.
Puff meaning Diddy, correct?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what he calls himself these days?
Nowadays.
He keep changing up. I can't keep up.
Yeah.
Man. Quarters in Session, Queen Latifah. What's some cat's name? I did the last demo. They got the Locks their deal, their first deal with Diddy. I don't know, hey man, I'm just trying to keep up.
You say you did the last demo. What do you mean you did the last demo? Like,
well, one of the songs on the demo was actually the I Got the Power joint that Puff used for his album.
Gotcha.
Which features the Locks.
Now, how did like, real quick, just to veer off for a second, how did the Locks come into play? How did you already know them, or?
Now, I met them, you know, of course, I met them through DNY. DNY has started, well, even before that, I was acquainted with them through Chad Elliott, because Chad was trying to get some beats for DMX, and this was before the deal. This was before DNY, before Rough Riders, all that. So I gave him 2 joints, and he said he gonna get a certain amount for them. So we met up with them at the on the New York side of the George Washington Bridge, and got the bread, and that was that. The next time I ran into DNY, well, first really it was D, and he had heard me doing some beats in what they had called Studio C at the time in D&D. So he was like, who those beats for? And I was like, I'm just making beats, man. So he was like, word? He was like, yo, we ain't really got no budget, but you know, I could shoot you something. And I was like, let's work it out. You know, I ain't gonna disclose the figure, but you know, so Styles and Sheik was already up there, so he had them come in there and, you know, just start spitting on the beat. And then about a half hour later, Jada came up there, and mind you, this how far back it was. They wasn't even a group. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't even a group yet. It was really, I think Sheik and Styles were the Warlocks. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, you know what I'm saying? So long story short, they all started spitting on the beat. You know, we negotiated the price, and then he was like, yo, you know, want to hear some more stuff you got? So I ended up doing like 3 joints for them. I was trying to find those 2. Can't find them, saved my life, man.
Do they still have it?
Nah, I doubt it.
No?
Doubt it. But we know they there somewhere in the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Somewhere. We all know. You know what I'm saying? That's all that counts.
Gotcha. That's what, I mean, so, and then that's what they used for their demo, which landed them a deal with Bad Boy. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then without disclosing a figure, if you mind me being nosy, did you get a piece of that as well? I mean, I know that one of them got placement. Like,
yeah. So I got production credit and monies for the placement.
Gotcha.
Most definitely. Put my business out in the street real quick. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give it up.
Yeah.
Tell it like it is.
Nah, okay, nah, that's what's up.
If I was mad, like, go, hold up, y'all niggas, come on, Britt.
Yeah. Some people they do that. Like,
yeah, but you know, I got long-standing relationships with D&Y and you know Jada, Chic, and Style. So like none of that was ever an issue.
Gotcha.
Never an issue.
Gotcha. Dang, that's what's up, man. Like, there's so much more I'm gonna talk about, but I know we gotta start wrapping it up.
It's part 1 of 8.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because it's like, like I said, because I want to know who Jazz is. You know what I mean? Like, I learned a little, and I was like, yo, like, the world needs to hear this. Like, the world needs to know who this man is. Like, you know what I mean? So,
I need.
yeah, like straight up. You know
I need to know.
Facts. Like, you know what I mean? Funny. So it's like I said, because me just rocking with you, because I don't know if you know, I remember when we met, like, I mean, I had the radio show in New York and I interviewed you, you know what I mean? I was damn near 400 pounds at that time. I was, you know what I mean? So, I don't remember, but like, I was a big nigga, like, you know what I mean?
But you know. Your face was the same. Your face was the same. After that, I was like, who this guy?
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, with me having the radio show, and it was like, you know what I mean? I was like, yo, there's a lot more. You know what I mean? Because you, at that time, with me doing radio, you brought in music. You know what I mean? So we premiered some songs that you had. And that's what made me that's what really sparked more interest. So I was like, yo, like, dude still got it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's his story? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's back then, man. There's a lot of years involved.
Now, of course. Like, you know what I mean? But but you still got it. Like, you know what I mean? And you're about to go on this tour. And can I ask you, do you have a situation right now? Like, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I could, if you want to talk about it, if not, I mean, hold off until like
we can talk about it. Nah, it's signed and sealed. It's a done deal. Of course, I have Kings County Media Group.
Yes.
And I just signed a distribution situation to the company for equity distribution. LLC, which is under the Roc Nation umbrella.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
that's what's up, man. And so that means new music is on its way.
New music is in your face practically.
Yes, you know what I mean. Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. And I am your host, Stefon Love, aka Mr. Pay Attention. You can find me on social media, IG at Mr. Pay Attention, Twitter at Mr._Pay Attention. We're going to do a part 2. I'm not sure if it's going to be next week, but we're going to do a part 2 very soon. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Stefon Show.